All right, guys, lots to talk about here. I'm recording this on a Wednesday night, but it really focuses on moving ahead, the big cool down on Friday following Thursday's rain. And then we're going to look ahead to Christmas. Yes, Christmas, because this forecast is not even really a difficult one should this ridge develop. So let's take it right from the top here. This is how it looks as we head into Thursday. Frontal system crossing the upper plains. You'll have more snow across the Great Lakes region. For us, very quiet. We are looking at the potential for rain, though, moving ahead here. You're going to see a little feature here. And you see where these winds, and these are upper air winds I've plotted. You see that? We call that a short wave. That's a disturbance in the atmosphere. It's not a fully formed synoptic system, but it is a disturbance nonetheless, and it usually brings about some rain. It could be a weak low, which is exactly what it is, disorganized, but tapping into some of that Gulf moisture, it is going to bring us some rain. So here is Thursday's forecast off of the HRRR, and we will have the chance for rain off and on basically all day. That is going to be kind of the going theme. Will it rain all day? No, I don't necessarily think so. Most of this will be just that, rain. However, as a front gets a little bit closer there, you can see that depicted where you've got a line from Hamilton back over to just north of Hattiesburg. As this pushes through, there might be enough wind shear within that profile between the winds behind the front and ahead of it that we get some thunderstorms. Again, not a big threat here, and there's nothing severe, obviously, with it. By 10 o'clock, a lot of this is out of central Alabama, and we're probably looking at, all in all, a very dry overnight, clearing, breezy. Temperatures will fall. Here's the deal. I backed off on the intensity of our lows Friday simply because of this. I'm not sure how quickly the clouds will get out of here. There is going to be cold air moving in, but I think the more impactful part of these colder temperatures is going to be in the afternoon. So we're going to top out in the upper 40s to low 50s on Friday, and a lot of that has to do with cold air advection. As that comes in, that breeze sourced from a colder air mass, it's going to feel chilly. As far as rain goes with this system, not much. In fact, those are all about trace rain totals. So this isn't a big rainmaker. Certainly isn't going to cancel out the drought, nor is the next 7 days. That's a look at the QPFs. So that would be the average in any one spot, and it's about a quarter of an inch at the most here moving forward. So not a ton of rain in the forecast. Of course, we still need it. Parts of central and western Alabama still under that extreme level 4 out of 5 drought. All right, so the next big story is our temperatures, and I love the upper air look here. This is the jet stream. As I say all season, it's the divider between the cold air mass to the north and the warm to the south. We experienced that Arctic air mass. The polar jet shifted south and brought those temperatures. Well, guess what? The flip side to that, the exact opposite, is a ridge, and you're going to see that developing as we head into next week. Now, we are right on the periphery of this. So note the jet stream is right through the Tennessee Valley. Along this, we're probably going to have cloud cover and rain. So if you're going anywhere from, say, Kansas City to Memphis to Gatlinburg next week, you're going to be right in between two air masses and probably some spotty showers. Now, if this ridge builds even further to the north, we'll likely trend drier. By Tuesday, this high is drifting towards El Paso, towards southwest Texas, and will continue to build. And notice here in the southeast in Alabama, we are building and going to be very close to the center of this upper air high, which would mean mostly sunny skies. It would mean very warm temperatures. Remember, we have atmospheric heights plotted on here, and when you see those darker oranges, that is a higher atmosphere. And we know that a higher atmosphere is caused because warm air takes up more space, and if that's a thicker column, a higher column, that's pretty good warm air under there. Ridge shifts to go along the Gulf Coast, and this might be the warmest day of the week, of the forecast period, with that high right there. You're going to have this ridge all the way up to Omaha, getting close to Minnesota. This is pushing that Arctic air north of the Great Lakes region. Now, you do have a big trough that's swinging in from the Pacific. We'll have to deal with that when we do. But I got to say, for the rest, potentially of December, we could be looking at a very above average pattern here. And certainly a warm Christmas. We will be in the 80s across Florida and South Texas, 70s for much of the Gulf Coast, and 60s all the way up to parts of Kansas and Missouri. So high temperatures on Saturday. Remember, Friday's highs 48, 49, 50. Saturday, we're back in the 60s, mid-60s for central southern Alabama. And then looking long term, you kind of just got the feel of that here. That's a look at our big picture we're going to have that ridge in place. And I thought I would pull this up. So our average highs next week, the week of Christmas, um, they are 53 in Huntsville, 55 in Birmingham, 60 in Montgomery. So to explain this product that we have here, the shades of red are a basically a leaning above. The darker the red, the more confident. So it's kind of a confidence meter. I have pretty full confidence that we're above average. There's really no question there. But it looks over an entire period of 7 days, day 8 to day 14. We will be warm for Christmas. The question is, do we stay warm through December? I tend to think yes. Needless to say, we don't have a big cool down anytime soon. So let's do the temperatures next week, beginning Monday, the week of Christmas. Again, you can see we're teetering right along that boundary. Look to the north. Look at where Knoxville is, 42 on Tuesday afternoon. Birmingham's at 67. Dallas is at 76. So the closer you get to the center of that ridge, the warmer it is. Let's push this out further. Let's go to Wednesday, Christmas Eve. Now you've got some of the warmest air from, south of Wichita, Oklahoma City, down to Dallas, 80 in Laredo. How about 70 in Birmingham? And again, this is one of those setups where I would not at all be surprised to see 70s. And to be quite honest, 70 degrees would not be unheard of in Alabama in December. We had some last year, and southerly wind and a big ridge, that'll absolutely do it for you. And as we look at Christmas Day, start the day in the 50s, end the day in the 70s, and very warm all across the southern U.S. and dry as well. The rain, if we have any, is going to be where these air masses clash, those Ohio Valley, upper Midwest, but not a whole lot to talk about here. With that in mind, our Christmas Day forecast, well, this is kind of in general. It's a generalization, but I do think we will have 50s statewide in the morning, 70s for the afternoon Christmas dinner, 50s and 60s as you sit down. And I'd be remiss if I didn't throw this in there too. CFP first round on Friday. Alabama's in Norman, and though it can be very cold this time of year, it will not be. A bit chilly. Temperatures are in the 50s at kickoff and at the final whistle. Temperature's not your issue. Wind is, so that'll be kind of the one anomaly in the game. So let's look at your forecast here. I hope everybody has a safe rest of the week in Alabama weekend. Anything changes to the forecast, we'll update this. See you next time.